Hey Crestline, Pastor Daniel here from Wilderness Church, coming back at you with a quick 2-minute video answering your questions about the world we live in today. Here's the question for this week. How do we as a community respond to the protests that are happening on our mountain? Well, that's probably a question that's on a lot of our minds, given that we've had a couple of protests already, and we have another one coming up here in a couple of days. Now, if you notice, I'm sitting in my car. It's because I found this a really difficult question to answer, and I've been thinking about it all week, and today I was driving around and just had a couple of good thoughts, and so I thought I better stop real quick and share these thoughts before I forget. And here's the first one. Not only did God make us in his own image, the Bible tells us, but God made each one of us very, very uniquely. We each have our own set of beliefs, values, strengths, and weaknesses. And what all of those things create in us are opinions. And our opinions we hold very, very strongly. We believe in them and we value our own opinion. But it also means when God created each one of us uniquely, not one of us the same, that we all have very, very strong opinions. And because each one of us have our own opinions, beliefs, and values, we need to show a high level of respect to one another about our beliefs and values. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. One of the ways that we can love our neighbor is by showing them respect, even when we disagree. Now understand that respect doesn't mean that we agree. It just means that I'm going to love you and respect your opinion, even if I disagree with it. Jesus didn't say love your neighbor only if they agree with you. Jesus didn't say love your neighbor only if they're just like you. Jesus said love your neighbor. And so to love our neighbor is to show a high level of respect to the varying opinions that people have. Now here's the number 2 thing that I think we need to do. If we truly love our neighbor as ourselves, then I think that means that we need to believe the best in people. I think a lot of times we jump to the most negative conclusion first. I think love says, I'm going to believe the best about you. And so when we start thinking about the protests that are happening on the mountain or the people we agree with or we disagree with, I think the first thing we need to start at is believing the best. If people say that they're going to protest in peace, in kindness, in love, then I think we need to believe the best in them and show them that we respect what they believe, we respect what they think, even if we disagree, by believing in the best, believing the best in them, and by respecting who they are, what they're saying, and what they want to stand up for. And so I think that the best advice that I can give answering the question of how do we respond to the protests that are happening in our community is to love our neighbor like we love ourselves, which means we respect what people think, believe, and what they value, even if we disagree, and we think and believe the best of them unless they prove us wrong. That's all for today, Crestline. I'll talk to you next week.